Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Friday, April 5th, 2024. I am Reverend Dr. Darrell Watkins, the senior minister here at Sunshine Cathedral.
I am Reverend Dr. Robert Griffin, the executive minister. Faith and religion can be complicated for the LGBTQ+ community. Surveys show that evangelical faith is the justification for the greatest attacks on the LGBTQ+ community.
I am Reverend Kevin Tisdall, the Minister of Education. The Queer God Squad is going to explore our religious community. Let's explore the big news of the day and what it means to you.
I am Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, the Minister of Connections. This is live, and then we are available on demand. We are available on all smart televisions and your favorite social media.
At Sunshine Cathedral, we are here to tell you that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Is it harder for lesbians and queer women to be Christians? On a recent post on Reddit's subreddit GayChristians delved into the challenges faced by Christian lesbians. The post, authored by a 21-year-old, highlighted the internal conflict of reconciling faith with sexuality. Coming out as a lesbian after being in a relationship, the author expressed peace with their decision, but grappled with guilt over not disclosing it to their family, fearing rejection and judgment. Despite feeling convicted in their faith and sexuality, they were apprehensive about discussing it with their religious parents, anticipating backlash and potential expulsion from their church community. Seeking advice and encouragement, the author shared the burden of navigating societal and religious expectations while embracing their identity. The journey of being a Christian, especially for lesbians and queer women, can be incredibly challenging. The internal conflict of reconciling faith with sexuality often leads to feelings of guilt, fear, and isolation. Many struggle with the fear of rejection from their families, communities, and churches, which can result in profound emotional turmoil. But you are not alone in this. As Queer God Squad, we recognize and empathize with the struggles faced by lesbians and queer women within Christian spaces. Our message to them is one of solidarity and support. Your faith and your identity are valid and deserving of acceptance. Remember that your worthiness is not determined by the judgments of others, but by your inherent value as a cherished child of the divine. So yes, the Christian church really does have a long history of being anti-woman. And if you throw being a lesbian or a queer woman into the mix, if you're a sexual minority, that just adds to it. So yes, there can be real issues and real problems. When I was in seminary many, many years ago, one of my classmates, I identify as an out queer lesbian to show support for the entire queer community. One of my classmates said to me, "I don't even know how you can identify as a Christian." She said that to my face. And I responded basically, "It's not up to you."
Good. Hey.
You don't get to tell me how I can identify.
Exactly.
I identify as a Christian because I follow the teachings of Jesus. Jesus is my model. That is who I want to emulate. I also identify as a queer lesbian. You don't get to tell me how I can identify. So there.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, as a 21-year-old lesbian myself,
Tell us, Darrell, how did you feel?
obviously I'm kidding, but there's a point in there too. I know what coming out as a white 19-year-old, presumably cisgender male was like in 1985.
Yeah.
I'm an old queer now, not an old person, but an old queer. We lost a generation of people who were the age I am now, so my role as an elder is real, and I take it seriously, and I love it.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it's like to come out as a lesbian in the third millennium. What I can say as a minister is that you are a person of sacred value. Your love is as worthy as anyone else's. You deserve to be happy, and you deserve to be surrounded by people who want you to be happy. Find your community, your people, your tribe. It might be mostly women. It might be mostly lesbians. It might be mostly queer identified folk. It might be mostly middle-aged leather queens. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Just find your folk and let them love you and encourage you, and you'll know when it's time to come out to whom. But you don't have to do it alone. find your peeps, and remember to love yourself for who you are. If you do that, then you always have at least one person cheering you on, even when other cheerleaders seem few and far between.
Yeah.
You know, we can never speak for anyone else's journey.
Right.
Right.
You know, their journey is their journey. And I often think about journeys that lead people to the Sunshine Cathedral from whatever background they come from. And my hope always is whatever the journey has been for you, that once you get to a place like Sunshine Cathedral, that you find what you need. And if you don't find what you need, it may be the starting point for ask questions for what do you need for your journey.
Right. Right. Valid point.
I guess I'm the oldest person at this table,
Yes.
and I've seen so many different alliterations of being queer, and I never, until I came to Sunshine Cathedral, thought about a woman's journey as a lesbian, as queer. We share a lot of the same journey in the sense of being minorities almost always. And minorities have a way of gravitating toward each other because we share the same kinds of stories. They are different in many ways because as a male, I had privilege that you did not as a woman. But as a gay man, you and I walk that walk kind of together. And I'm not trying to minimize what's going on, but I understand maybe better than the cis male does that the struggle is real. And until you can find your community, you may not be able to find your voice.
Yeah.
And once you find your voice, you're able to go out to the rest of the world and say, like you did at seminary, and my gosh, what a great thing. I am who I am, and you don't get to tell me what I'm supposed to be, how I'm supposed to be, or what I'm supposed to do. And that's what I think it's all about. We have the ability to say to the world that I am created in the image of the divine. I am no different than you are in that sense, but I am a unique individual and I have the right to speak my truth. And to that person, I keep going back to it in our conversations. Thank goodness for the subreddit groups where people have the ability to speak their truth safely until they're ready to speak their truth to a greater world.
Right, right. One final word I want to say on that. Lesbian is a word that is generally an identifier that is usually used by women who are a bit older. Queer is younger, for the most part. I mean, that's a generalization, but for the most part. And I remember reading when I was doing my doctoral work that for women who self-identified as a lesbian, it was harder to come out as Christian
Wow.
than as a lesbian.
Wow.
I believe it.
So, yeah.
I believe it.
So,
And I remember when lesbian was a bit of controversial, because I am older than a lot of people, but that like there was a feminist group that say we don't want to be like, we think of gay as man, and we're not man, so we want our own word. But then there was another group that says, but we don't want to be something other, like we're gay too. Like, and I remember Ellen used to call herself gay, and so there was all of that. And we sort of got it worked out. Now it's just LGBTQ. Like it's always, like that's the way it is now for most of us. I think there's still some people who like, I have to live with it because, I lost the battle, but I still don't like it. I'm a gay person or whatever. And some people, same thing with queer. I'm amazed that people have an issue with the queer because I was part of the Queer Nation movement in the 80s.
yeah.
A lifetime ago. And queer theory was part of the social sciences from before then. And so I'm always amazed. And the power of reclamation. I mean, I just love it so much. So like any word that you say that this is me, good on you. And if I don't like it, I'm not going to use it.
Yeah.
I don't have to use it, but I don't have to keep you from using it because it wouldn't work for me. And but I honestly, if it's that prickly to you, if it's that abusive to you, if that's hurtful to you, reclamation may be the answer. It was for me. There's not a one-size-fits-all philosophy in the world, but people don't. I haven't heard anybody say faggot or queer to or about me in decades because when it's on my business card, it's no fun for you to do that.
Exactly.
And see, that's the other piece of it. A lot of times when we reclaim words and we start using them ourselves, then the stigma, the sting is no longer there. And like you just said, it's no more fun if I'm using the word than,
Yeah.
girl, what
Right.
do you say?
Yeah.
So now you got to think of something else mean like, well, you can't be a Christian. Like,
Yeah.
because dyke, damn straight.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Remember that cartoon, Dykes with,
Dykes with bikes.
yes,
Dykes
yes.
with bikes.
And-
Dykes are what? Dykes for to watch out for.
Yeah,
Dykes to watch out for.
Dykes
Alison Bechtel.
were
Wow.
always in the parades. I remember the early days in the MCC movement, people get fire threats and bomb threats, and often when that would happen at a church or a rally or spiritual renewal or something, it was the Dykes on Bikes that would come and offer
rally.
protection.
Yes.
They would surround the place. And so, yeah, Dyke, hell yeah, I was one of those Dykes keeping your ass safe. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Exactly. We're one of
whatever
these
makes
parades.
you feel alive and good. And so, yeah, don't be mean to someone if they don't like it, but also don't let them take it from you if it's life-giving for you.
Yep. And so it is. Be yourself.
Well, that's today with the Queer God Squad. We want to thank you for joining us. We're here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ plus community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's largest progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together, and we are all in this together. Remember that.
You are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.